I am that tub guy. Today we are going to take an in-depth look at the SafeStep walking bathtub. We're going to be evaluating this bathtub really from a contractor's point of view, trying to give you some real objective criticism, some great feedback. So when you are out there trying to make a decision on what bathtub to go with, you're talking to all of these different companies. Hopefully this kind of gives you that insider perspective on the nuts and bolts and what makes a great bathtub.
So first things first, I'm sitting in this bathtub. Again, I'm 6'2", and I want you to kind of get a great perspective of how this bathtub fits. Where are my feet on the jets? What is the whole size and shape of this tub when you're in it? So, I will say that with SafeStep, they do a nice job of being thoughtful in the angle and the beveled edge and making sure that the foot jets are where you need them to be. There are 2 total foot jets, so there are bathtubs out there with more jets. Also, you'll notice there are no other jets on the floor. So as far as my feet, front of my legs are concerned, I'm limited to the 2 jets on my feet. Now, as far as other comfort goes, when I'm sitting in this bathtub, the leg jets, they're gonna do a nice job. They're gonna be coming out, hitting my calves, so that's positive. I do like that. Let's see, width-wise, so this is kind of their standard model walk-in bathtub. And when I'm seated in this bathtub, I've got a couple inches on each side of my body, so I'm comfortable. This is a 28-inch bathtub, so you're gonna end up, in a typical home, needing to put some sort of trim outside on the floor to fill the extra 2 inches of space. I think SafeStep oftentimes ends up putting a shelf on the back side of the bathtub, but I'll tell you, there's really no reason if you have a 30-inch space to use a 28-inch bathtub. It's really silly. You should be going for a 30-inch bathtub. SafeStep does offer a larger bathtub model, their 31-inch model, but I think more folks go for the 28 because of cost. I couldn't really tell you any other reason why, but my understanding is the 28-inch model is by far the bathtub that they suggest and install most often. Let's see. So again, I'm sitting in this bathtub. Right in front of me, I've got a grab bar. That's nice. Let's see. The grab bar construction, this is not anything, heavy duty. It doesn't feel like it's solid brass construction. In front of me, I've got another grab bar that I can grab and pull on. Same thing. It's thin construction, but very nice locations. We like the locations. I'm all about kind of kicking the tires though, so I want to see things that are robust in build quality. My jetting and my buttons on this side, I'm always extremely critical of these push button control pads. In the past, I've installed thousands of walk-in bathtubs, no joke, thousands. And these controls oftentimes can be a service call. Folks with carpal tunnel, I'm using my thumb, nail. These are not easy to push. What happens, you have carpal tunnel or arthritis, and you just can't get the button pushed, and you think there's something wrong with your bathtub. So you call in for service, and the next thing you know, you got a guy out like myself, back when I used to do this, and, we're telling you, nope, there's nothing wrong with your tub. You just got to push the button better. So it's a big, thick layer of plastic covering a button, and you really have to get it just right. It's real easy to make a mistake on these control pads. We will see on other bathtubs, there's a style of button, and I call it a plunger. And it's super simple to use, looks beautiful, and you never run into any issues there. As far as the floor goes, it's got a nice texture, nice anti-slip texture. Can't complain about that. Let's see, what else can we cover? Let's stand up and let me show you kind of showering space in this bathtub. So it is actually comfortable. You have to realize with a walk-in bathtub, you're always sacrificing part of your bathing space for the seat, and prioritize that. These things are all about your safety. That's okay. Do not get held up on the fact that you have less shower space. But I can move around in here. I could shower. Other controls on here, you do have the ability to go between your back jets and your foot jets, which is kind of a neat feature on their tubs. One thing I will say is the drain. It's a single drain. It's gravity fed, which means you open it with the overflow, Drain pops up, water goes down with gravity. It's a single drain, but it is oversized. So that part, it's nice that it's oversized. It's unfortunate that there's only one of them. I really prefer the bathtubs that actually have 2 drains on the floor. Those things cruise. They drain so fast. These are LED lights, so you get the chromotherapy. One thing I'm noticing in this bathtub, because I've viewed so many tubs, is that there are not many jets. You've got 6 jets on your back. It's like, that's it. You've got the 6 jets on your back, and that's all you get. Down below here, let's take a closer look. There is a system called the micro bubble system, and that is a jet right down here at the base. And what ends up happening is fine effervescent bubbles come out of this, stick to your skin, and help to take and relieve dead skin, dermatitis, psoriasis, oil in your pores. Super nice system.
I would much rather have a ton of floor jets, a ton of back jets, hip jets, waist jets, bidet jets, extra foot jets. I mean, that's really where people get the therapy and all the benefit out of these bathtubs.
Let's see. So one other thing, inside of this bathtub, there are the hinges. So these, and I'm telling you, I've seen, I feel like almost every tub on the market. These are probably some of the worst door hinges that I've seen, and let me tell you why. One, it's nothing more than just a standard, residential cabinet door or, storage box hinge. They're stainless, and they just screw them to the tub. They put a bead of silicone in, and then they put these little plastic acrylic caps on here to cover them all up. This, to me, should be something that a company really puts a lot of thought and effort into in engineering to make this hinge exceptionally robust. This hinge is anything but. There are a total of 2 of these little mini peewee hinges, and super unimpressed by the door hinges on this bathtub. All right, so let's go ahead and exit the tub. Oh, you know what? Before we exit, let's backtrack here. Let's check out this faucet. So SafeStep does a 1/2-inch supply on their faucet. It's nice and easy to use, nice big lever handles, got a pretty gooseneck. This particular model is made by Delta Faucets. This part is pretty odd to me. It's just a kind of your typical pop-up and waste assembly on this bathtub, and this thing just comes out. So if you're getting this for a family member, has Alzheimer's, dementia, has any sort of lack of ability to figure things out on the fly, this could really throw somebody for a loop if this thing comes off in their hand and they can't turn their shower head on. Shower head's fine. Nothing wrong with that. It's real lightweight. I mean, there's not much to it, but these are universal. You could run to the Home Depot and get yourself a nice upgraded handheld shower. Overall in the bathtub, it's pretty vanilla, especially after viewing so many. I would say that this thing is checking your basic essentials, but you're not getting anything extra with this bathtub. All right, let's go ahead and check out the door handle. So here's our handle. It's small. When I grip it, my knuckles are just barely touching the door. I really like to have some clearance between my hand and the door when I go to grip this handle. And it is small. This is just a little peewee, just a small little fella here. Some sort of stamped, maybe pot steel, it might be brass, I'm not sure. One thing I'll tell you is this type of mechanism right here, you can get soap buildup. It occasionally does require service. Just depends on if you have hard water and things. The contact is like a nylon bushing that comes in contact with this stainless shim here on the door. As you pop this guy up, door kind of opens up. And let's check out the build quality on this door. So you can see what I do. They have this S-shaped door, kind of swings over my legs. So that part is comfortable. Do take into account kind of my size and my stature. Kind of give yourself an idea if you think this would be comfortable for you. If I were standing up and doing the same thing, here's how this door looks. So it does, let's see if if I do it like this. Let's see if I kind of do it like this. There we go. That's kind of the angle for me if I'm standing up to open and close this door. Now it's catching on my jeans if I lean back a little bit, but realize I'm relatively fit. And I know as folks age, sometimes you put a little extra weight on in the hips. This could be a chore. But if you're seated, you know, we're getting fair clearance here on my legs, so that part's nice. Now, the reason they designed the door like this is because people do gain some weight. You put extra weight on in the hips, and at the top, near your waist, the door is wider. And as you go down towards the bottom, it's narrower where you would step in and out of the tub. So let's check this door. So what I like to look for is a solid door. You know, acrylics can expand and contract. You know, it's 70 degrees in your house. Next thing you know, you fill this thing up with 105-degree water, and, you know, the plastic is swelling and shrinking, swelling and shrinking. So let's see. Yep, so this is a hollow acrylic plastic door. You can see that this is a two-piece door, kind of thermo welded together. They've got, not a fan. This is a big red flag. I do not like a glued-on door seal. So this door seal itself is just glued onto the bathtub. That's a big red flag. You combine this with these door hinges that we talked about, plastic door, and it's really, you know, to me, it's got a lot of the makings for potential leaks and failures. Let's get out of the bathtub and take a little closer look at what else is going on with the door. So here's how the seal contacts. When you close the door and you lock the hinge, yep, you get a little compression at the top. Most of the compression will be at the bottom of the door. That's normal. As we go through the jamb, this is where the seal contacts. At the bottom, this is super concerning. So what this is a door drain. Let's see here. Yep, so this pops out. This is a check valve. So manufacturers put these in the bottom of their doors to catch leaks. So this bathtub, you know, when they were engineering it, likely it came up in conversation, hey, what if this bathtub leaks? We have these potential issues that could arise. And they put a drain at the bottom to catch all the door leaks. Now, when we look at the fact that this tub door is made out of plastic, it's got a glued-on seal, and it's got these little mini peewee door hinges on it, which we're going to take a look at, and let's see how they fasten those through the tub in a second. But when you add up all those different things, it makes sense that there's a door drain check valve. So let's take a closer look now at this tub, and let's see how those hinges attach. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pop off this magnetic access panel here, and let's dig in. So here you can see where those screws come through the bathtub from those door hinges. And you can see right at the tip of every one of these screws a little bit of silicone. So they squirt some silicone on, and then they drill right through the tub. I'm gonna tell you that I bet there are some percentage, and I'm sure it's probably, I don't know what it would be, but when these tubs get installed, you get a little drip of water coming out of those screws. I'm going to tell you that I bet that is not very uncommon. Now let's come over here since we're looking and check out the frame. So it's a nice aluminum frame on this bathtub. It looks like they put a couple little deals here so when you're installing it, you can carry the tub. That's super cool. And you've got your leveling feet down here. So there's our leveling feet. You'll see right here, that's how you disperse the weight. I pre-investigated this tub and there are 6 of those leveling feet. Here's something I discovered. So with these bathtubs, the Safe Step tubs, they have these different bolts. And you'll see right here, this bolt allows the frame to pivot. So you can loosen that bolt right there, and then you can tighten this bolt right here. And what that's going to do is it's going to pull the frame left and right. And a person would do that if the door was clicking. So if, say, this door were clicking right here, right? It was too close. You could spread the width from here to here, and you could adjust that click out of there. Now, what happens if the door's leaking? Now, I would prefer to get a bathtub that is guaranteed not to leak, and I don't have to mess with all that. but let's take a look at what you could do. So one, you could adjust the width of the door, and two, you could come down here and you could take a look at this bolt. Now this is fiberglassed in to the door, and as you tighten this bolt, what this is going to do is it's going to put pressure on the top of the door, and it's going to change the angle of the jamb so that your door seal is making full contact. Another way to adjust leaks out of the door. So you combine this bolt with that bolt, that door drain check valve, plastic door, glued on door seal, and really probably the most basic door hinges, just kind of glued on with the plastic caps screwed through the tub with the little silicone on the end of the screws. All of that adds up to me as a very concerning door and construction assembly for this bathtub. So now we've kind of covered door. Let's look at the overall construction. What I like to see on a walk-in bathtub is a full acrylic shell. I like acrylic because say it dents, you just buff it out. It'll never crack or chip. Okay, I don't like an acrylic door because there's much better materials to make it out of. But for the shell of your tub, I like acrylic. So what we don't want to see is fiberglass with gel coat, because fiberglass with gel coat is brittle, it spider cracks, and if it chips, you know, anything metallic hits it, even during installation, it's Bondo, it's filler, it's color matching, it's buffing, it's wet sanding. You always see the little seam. Maybe you have a company come in and they have to spray and they have to refinish sections of your tub. What a nightmare. So unfortunately, this bathtub is the fiberglass with the gel coat. And you can see all of these chips, and you can see up here how it's kind of been scuffed or sanded. Oh, I can actually see in the light. There's a section right here. Do you see how it changed from glossy to kind of this matte? That's someone trying to do some sort of a repair. Let's take a look at the faucet. Okay, here's the faucet. So this is a 1/2-inch faucet, meaning 1/2-inch supply lines, which are standard. This is what you would expect to see in your home. However, with walk-in bathtubs, we want a 3/4-inch faucet. And the reason is there's little orifices inside the cartridge where the water comes through when you're turning things on and off. When you're doing that, when you're turning the water on and off with those cartridges, when you have a 3/4-inch, you actually end up with a larger orifice versus a 1/2-inch where you have a smaller. It just means that more water can get through. You don't need to have 3/4-inch water lines going to that fixture. You just want to make sure that you have completely unrestricted water flow going through.
So now we have gone through the safe step walk-in bathtub. We've talked about the jetting, we've talked about the door construction, we've talked about construction material, we've talked about drain and drain size, we've talked about the frame, we checked out the faucet and flow rates, we talked about the grab bars, we talked about button styles, overall comfort, ease of entry. We've kind of checked on all the major points that a person would want to consider when making a walk-in bathtub purchase. I recommend take all this in, watch this video a couple times. Also, watch the rest of the videos on the different walk-in bathtub manufacturers. Make an educated decision. If you have any questions, drop a comment. I'm really good. I don't get enough comments where I can't respond to them all, so drop me a comment. I'll get the notification and I'll reply to you. If you want referrals or recommendations or how to get in touch with any of the companies I talk to, I'll get you in contact with their websites. That's really the best I can do. And I hope this video helps. Please like and subscribe, and thank you for watching.